Alright y'all, welcome back to another episode of Retro ReWire. My name is JJ, and in today's episode we find ourselves in Shinjuku, Tokyo. And the reason we're here is because I'm continuing the In the Hunt series, and we're going to visit the Surugaya store here in Shinjuku. Now, I believe this is one of their flagship stores just because it's so massive, and it's definitely a lot bigger than those found in Akihabara. And I'm super excited to share this footage with all of you because they had tons and tons of inventory. In fact, I only had enough time to film a single aisle, and I was there for a few hours. And even then, just with this single aisle, I'm gonna be dividing up today's episode into about 3 parts, just so that it's a little bit more digestible. And I will be returning to this store to finish filming the areas that I missed out on the first time. But anyhow, without further ado, let's go ahead and cut to the footage and enjoy Surugaya in Shinjuku. So here we are outside of the Surugaya. And as you walk in, you're going to be greeted with tons and tons of figures. My goodness. And I actually wanted to share this footage with all of you guys because I'm actually in the market for a couple of Lupin the Third figures. Now, I didn't actually buy any, but I just wanted to see what they had in stock. And yeah, pretty impressive. And some of the prices are pretty reasonable. Sometimes you could find these figures in the used section. I believe some of these are used, but you could also find them used at hard off, and they could be a little bit less expensive depending on the location of a particular hard off. But anyhow, this is the aisle that we're going to be taking a look at today. Tons and tons of stuff in the display case, along the walls, and as I mentioned earlier, we're going to focus on a handful of systems, and I'll be dividing up the episodes into 3 parts. And here we go. As you can see, the Sega Master System or Sega Mark III games, Game Gear, and then just an assortment of loose Sega carts for various Sega systems. A lot of good stuff here, and most of it seems to be, you know, not too overpriced or not too underpriced, just kind of so-so, I guess. Although like these boxed Game Gear games, like this Mickey Mouse one, $49. Don't really know the price on it because I'm not really a collector of Game Gear games, but we have this Shining Force for $28. Looks like to be in pretty good condition. And then here we have various PC games for the X68000 as well as the MSX and other PC platforms. Normally don't see a lot of these older PC games out and about. But yeah, they seem to have quite a bit in stock, and some of them actually, I gotta say, some of them look actually pretty interesting, and they have pretty good, cool-looking covers. I'm kind of a sucker for good cover art, and yeah, I was definitely digging the retro vibes out of some of these covers. I mean, look at this. This even looks like it has a Xenomorph back there. Kind of an interesting looking game. Now, I don't have a clue what the majority of these are, but this one actually looks pretty good. Gandhara. Looks like a Zelda-ish type of game, and that's definitely one that I want to look up in the future. Looks pretty sweet. And then we'll just keep making our way through these PC games. Just tons and tons of stuff, and I've actually been to this location a few times before, and usually nobody really browses this little PC end cap, at least not while I'm there. Now this is an interesting one, 9,000 or $90 for Final Fight. And then here in the back you can see that when the game launched on the PC it was about $98. So it's still kind of in line with its original pricing there. But yeah, like I said, my knowledge is very, very limited on these older PC games, but some of them are, you know, they kind of look like a graphic novel type of games, like little love story games, like this one here. Not really sure what this is about, but... And then some of them look to be action-packed. But yeah, definitely a cool section. And then here, this was kind of like a little swinging merchandising little post, and all sorts of like little peripherals and hardware. Kind of interesting things, and like this Super Game Boy 2 for $28. I've seen it a little bit lower priced at other hard offs, but mind you, they're a little bit further away from Tokyo, so you end up paying in the transportation fees to get out there. But yeah, all sorts of little cool little knickknacks. A pink PSP, that's kind of cool if you're a collector of PSP. Got some Dreamcast stuff in the back. Then we got some cart cleaning solution down there, which is a little bit expensive. You can usually get it cheaper on Amazon. But all sorts of Nintendo handhelds here, just kind of waiting for the right buyer. And then here we'll make our way to the junk section. There's all sorts of like little peripherals in the bottom, and then these are the games. Now all the games are pretty much 100 yen or about $1. So not bad, and they had some pretty good stuff, as I'm going to show you here. We have Fallout New Vegas, and for $1, I would say this is definitely worth it. I had a lot of fun when I played through this game. Pretty good price. Then we have Final Fantasy X. This is $1. It's the greatest hits version. And then of course Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker. But yeah, all sorts of like big hit games in this pile, and it's constantly changing. And then here we have a few more for other platforms. And then next to that we have a couple bins with peripherals, controllers, and systems. You'll notice there that we have a couple PlayStation 1s, and they're priced at 800 yen each. Now I picked up mine for 50 yen, but mind you, it was like an hour away from Tokyo, and you know, after paying for the transportation costs, it's about the same. And then I gotta say, their Xbox section was very, very impressive, and it's probably the largest one I've ever seen. And we have this 3D action masterpiece, Ninja Gaiden Black, which is kind of expensive here in Japan. I'm not sure how expensive it is in the States. But then that's the Capcom Classics collection, and it's actually the US version, and so is that Panzer Dragoon Orta. But yeah, just tons and tons of 360 games. And as I mentioned, I've never seen this many at any other place other than this place. And this game I'm kind of interested in Splatterhouse. I used to own it on the PlayStation 3, and I actually ended up beating it. But I would like to add it into my collection. But it's actually jumped in price in the last few years. And I don't remember it being like $60 good. I mean, it's a fun game, but definitely not for that price. Not sure what this is, but kind of an interesting cover. Might be like a shooter of some sort, maybe. But yeah, just tons and tons of games, and a lot of these games are under $10. Like this masterpiece, the orange box, and they actually had quite a few copies. I'll take a look at it. I'll show you guys another one here in a sec. Then we have God of War Judgment for $6. And that's one series that I never gave its due. Dead Rising for $4. That's another series that I haven't really touched. And then this is an awesome game, Alan Wake. And Alan Wake for $7, definitely worth it. They also had like the limited edition copy that includes like a novel of some sort, and it was about $9. But here's the other copy of the orange box. And sometimes when they have duplicate games, they could price them a little bit differently. But as you saw there, they were all the same price. And then I'll show you guys God of War 3 here, and that's $11. They had plenty of God of War in stock. But yeah, pretty impressive Xbox selection there. And then we'll make our way into the Famicom games, and my goodness, they just had tons and tons of Famicom games. In fact, I wasn't even sure how I was gonna be tackling this, just because it was just so many. And as you can see in the bottom, it's just littered with disk system Famicom games, and then up at the top, it's mostly the cart games. And prices were as low as $3 and above. But I'm sure this is like this is a system that I don't have too much knowledge on, but I'm sure they had quite a few interesting titles in stock. Like for example, that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles there for $14. A couple Dragon Ball games there, and then we have Salamander here for $15 with its cool transparent casing. And then these are the boxed games, and yeah, they just had so many Famicom games. My goodness. I think eventually I would like to secure like a top loader and just kind of explore the library a little bit, but that probably won't be anytime soon. But yeah, very impressive assortment of games here. Just so many. And as you can see here, you can definitely feel free to pause, but they have a duplicate. They have a couple duplicates of various titles there. But yeah, and then prices were kind of like in the loose cards. But this will be the last section that I'll show for this first part. And it's just kind of an end cap of more Famicom games. And some of them pretty interesting looking covers. But anyhow, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and cut back to the studio, and then we'll wrap things up. And then I'll kind of lay out the plan on the next video, which will be dropping in a couple days. So stay tuned for that. Alright y'all, so I hope you enjoyed the Surugaya in Shinjuku Part 1. In Part 2, I'm going to be showing off Super Famicom and Sega Saturn games, and then in Part 3, I'm going to be showing you guys the display case, and then hopefully in the additional parts, I'll show you guys like the additional aisles that I missed out on the first time around. But anyhow, thank you for checking out Retro Rewire. My name is JJ. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you all very, very soon. Ciao. And we find ourselves in Shinjuku in Tokyo. Now this is a super busy and fancy area. No, not fancy. All right, y'all, welcome back. Yeah. All right, y'all, welcome back to another. All right, y'all, welcome back. Well, I can't say welcome anymore.